Guys, we need to talk about what's happening with Mikayla's brand right now because the internet is absolutely losing it. Her latest product drop has turned into this massive controversy, and honestly, I don't think anyone saw this coming. So let's get into everything. Okay, so for those who aren't fully caught up, Mikayla launched POV Beauty earlier this year, and I have to say, I was skeptical. We've all seen what happens when influencers launch beauty brands. It usually doesn't end well, but Mikayla had one major advantage. She had actual investors and was working with people who knew what they were doing. And honestly, things have been relatively smooth so far. No moldy products, no major formula fails. That's more than we can say for some other influencer brands. For the most part, POV Beauty has had a decent run. People seem to genuinely like the products, and Mikayla was building up this reputation of having a legitimate brand. But it looks like that winning streak might be coming to an end. This month, Mikayla launched her first color cosmetics. She dropped these holiday lip kits with a tinted lip treatment and matching lip liner, and she made three major promises that really sold people on these products. First, incredibly pigmented.
I'm gonna line with contour it. This lines, fills, and enhances your lip with ultra grip. And honey, these are pigmented. One swipe. They blur, but the wear on these is absolutely insane.
Second, not sticky at all.
Not sticky, extremely hydrating. You can do a sheer, gorgeous wash of color like this.
And third, the lip liner was basically impossible to remove.
Once they dry on your arm, you can rub and rub and rub and rub, and they're not going anywhere. They're not going anywhere.
And guys, she really went all in. There was this whole demonstration where she swatched the lip liner on her arm, scrubbed it, ran it under water, wiped it, and it wasn't moving. She even took a makeup wipe to it, and barely anything came off. She was so confident, telling people you'd need an oil-based makeup remover just to get it off. The kit sold out almost immediately. And that's when things started to go wrong. Let's start with the pigment. Mikayla really hyped up how pigmented these were. She said she went to the lab and told them to make these as pigmented as possible. But when reviews started coming in from actual customers, people immediately noticed the products didn't look nearly as pigmented as they did in Mikayla's videos. One of the first influencers to review them actually had to fill in her entire lips with the lip liner first, just to get visible color. And when she showed what they looked like without that extra step, you could really see how sheer and patchy they were. The comments were filled with people saying the same thing. One person wrote, "My only gripe is that Mikayla advertised these as extremely pigmented, and they very clearly are not." Another said, "It doesn't even seem like the same product." Now, some creators defended the product, but here's the catch. If you want the pigment Mikayla showed, you have to layer the product multiple times. And that's where you run into the second problem. Mikayla said multiple times that these were not sticky. She specifically said, "None of that stringy, sticky residue."
It's super glossy, comfortable, not stringy.
She demonstrated layering the product and kept emphasizing it stayed smooth, even with multiple layers. But pretty much every review from actual paying customers has said the opposite. People are showing that when you talk or move your lips, you get that gross, stringy effect. You know what I'm talking about. When you open your mouth and there's that web of product connecting your lips. One creator said, "The gloss sticks together," which is a personal pet peeve of mine. Another person commented, "They're sticky and have that nasty little sticky look when you separate your lips." You can literally see the product stringing in the videos. Now, some people defended Mikayla, saying these reviewers are just putting too much product on. But here's the thing. You literally have to put that much on if you want the pigment Mikayla showed. And a lot of these influencers posting positive reviews have TikTok shop links, meaning they're earning commission. One creator who is defending it literally said, "I'm paid a commission. Yes, what's the problem?" And that is the problem. When you're making money off the product, your review is naturally biased. Mikayla specifically said you could build up the color without any stickiness. She demonstrated doing exactly that. So when paying customers try to do the same thing and get completely different results, that feels like false advertising. The third major claim falling apart is about the lip liner being transfer-proof and impossible to remove. One of the first honest reviews I saw was from this creator who was so excited to try it. She loves Mikayla, she was hyped for this launch. The application looked great, but then she checked back in like an hour later and guys, it had worn off significantly. You could see bare patches on her lips. And this creator was so genuinely disappointed. She talked about how she's a young mom, money is tight, and she spent over $100 on just 3 kits because Mikayla's demonstration convinced her they were worth it. She even said, I feel like there's trust broken now, and I know it's probably parasocial, but I really believed what she showed us. The comments were filled with other paying customers saying they had the exact same experience. It makes you wonder what was different about Mikayla's demonstration. Did she have setting spray on her arm, setting powder? Because the difference between what she showed and what customers are experiencing is huge. So here's where things get even messier. After all this backlash started building, Mikayla deleted the original video where she made the buildable non-sticky claims. The video where she specifically said, you can amp this up and get even more pigment, still none of that stringy, sticky residue. That video is gone. And to me, deleting that video is basically an admission of guilt. If the product actually performed the way she said it would, why delete the evidence? But the internet never forgets. People have screen recordings, people have receipts. This is also reminding people of Lashgate. Remember when Mikayla was accused of wearing false lashes in a mascara ad without disclosing it? Now we're seeing a similar pattern. It's starting to feel like this might just be how she does business. As if the product issues weren't enough, POV Beauty is also dealing with major complaints about shipping and customer service. Their Instagram is flooded with angry customers saying they ordered weeks ago and products still haven't shipped. People are asking for email responses and getting nothing. One person commented, would love an email response on orders from November 4th. What is going on? Another said, you should focus less on reposting influencer stories and answer your customers' DMs and emails. This has been a consistent problem since they launched. When you're launching new products but can't even ship out your previous launch, that's a problem. When customer service isn't responding to paying customers, but has time to repost every positive influencer story, that tells people exactly where the priorities are. Let's also talk about price. Before they cut it, these lip kits were $42. For a lot of people, that's a significant purchase, especially for a relatively new brand. When you're charging high-end prices, people expect high-end results. And when the product doesn't deliver on specific claims, people feel ripped off. That young mom who spent over $100 on 3 kits, she might have been disappointed if they were $15 each, but spending that much makes it so much worse. So where does this leave Mikayla? I think she needs to make a choice. Either reformulate the product or be way more honest about what it actually is. Because right now, the gap between what was advertised and what people are getting is too big to ignore. If she had just been upfront and said, hey, this is a sheer tinted treatment that works best with light application, people wouldn't be this upset. The problem is the over-promising. The problem is making demonstration videos that don't reflect what normal people will experience. I do wonder if we're going to get a statement addressing all of this. Is she going to acknowledge the complaints, offer refunds, or just move on to the next product and hope everyone forgets? Because these just launched, and people are only now getting them. This is probably going to get louder before it gets quieter. And this damages more than just the brand. When someone builds their platform on being trustworthy, and then their brand doesn't deliver, it damages their entire reputation. If she'll oversell her own products, what else has she oversold? Look, I don't hate Mikayla or POV Beauty, but this launch has been messy. The product isn't living up to the claims, customer service is struggling, and now evidence is being deleted. That's not a good look. For anyone who bought these and feels disappointed, I totally get it. For anyone thinking about buying them, I'd say wait. Wait for more reviews. Wait to see if there's a reformulation. Wait to see how Mikayla handles this. Because how a brand responds to criticism tells you everything you need to know. Anyway, guys, I want to know what you think about all of this. Have any of you tried these lip kits? Let me know all your thoughts in the comments down below. I love you guys so much, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye, guys!